Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Spanish tragedy, and we get to hear from Bel-imperia today in Act 4, Scene 1. We've made it to the final act of the play, because remember, this play only has 4 acts, not 5. But perhaps more importantly, because we're changing acts, we have to check in with Don Andrea and the ghost of Don Andrea and the personification of revenge real quick before we do. So that is what some versions call Act 3, Scene 15, and other versions call Act 3, Scene 16. Depending on the whole 12A thing. But whatever, today we're in Act 4, Scene 1, which is kind of across the board. It's Act 4, Scene 1. But the Ghost of Don Andrea and Revenge have been watching this whole thing, and they most recently watched the Viceroy of Portugal show up and give his crown to Balthazar so that Balthazar and Bel-imperia can get married, and then they're going to become the royal family of France, or of Portugal, so that Spain and Portugal will have, this nice strong bond moving forward. And they watched Hieronymo coming in wanting revenge and drawing his sword, but then sort of getting talked down and embracing Lorenzo finally. But we all know, because we got to see the very last little tidbit of what Hieronymo did. He was like, I'm not going to be friends with these people. I'm just going to keep them close so that I can, do my thing. Whatever. So in the Act 3, Scene 16 or 15, depending on what version you're in, the ghost of Don Andrea looks at Revenge, who's been sleeping, and is like, hello, wake up, we're supposed to be getting revenge over here, and what are you doing? You're sleeping over there, like, you're missing all of this. What are you, like, I'm wanting revenge to happen, and instead I'm watching Bel-imperia get married, and Hieronymo forgive Lorenzo for Horatio, and all this kind of stuff, like, what's going on? And Revenge is like, hang on, just wait. And then a dumb show comes out that has a couple of people with torches, and then another person who's supposed to be also Revenge, and they do a little show, and Don Andrea's like, what was that? And Revenge is like, well, that was, the first 2 of them are getting married, but then you see they get paid back in blood for what they did. And the ghost of Don Andrea is like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, all right, things are still coming. And that's the end of Act 3. Act 4 starts out with Bel-imperia and Hieronymo. They get to have a moment together, and Bel-imperia kicks off the scene saying, is this the love thou bearest, Horatio? Is this the kindness that thou counterfeitst? Are these the fruits of thine incessant tears? Hieronymo, are these thy passions, thy protestations, and thy deep laments that thou wert wont to weary men withal? O unkind father, O deceitful world! With what excuses canst thou show thyself from this dishonor and the hate of men? Thus to neglect the loss of life of him, whom both my letters and thine own belief assures thee to be causeless slaughtered. Hieronymo, for shame, Hieronymo. Be not a history to aftertimes of such ingratitude unto thy son. Unhappy mothers of such children, then, but monstrous fathers, to forget so soon the death of those whom they with care and cost have tendered so, thus careless, should be lost. Myself, a stranger in respect of thee, so loved his life, as still I wish their deaths, nor shall his death be unrevenged by me. Although I bear it out for fashion's sake, for here I swear in sight of heaven and earth, shouldst thou neglect the love thou shouldst retain, and give it over, and devise no more, myself should send their hateful souls to hell that wrought his downfall with extremest death. So, she wasn't there when Hieronymo did the mwahahaha, I'm not actually going to be friends with these guys bit. So she's tearing into him because she thinks that he's given up on wanting revenge. She's like, this is how you're paying tribute to your son Horatio. And keep in mind, she's also still upset about the ghost of Don Andrea. She's essentially had 2 lovers now killed by Balthazar, and she's supposed to marry Balthazar. And she's like, I'm going to go along with it because that's what I'm supposed to do. But I'm still planning in the back of my mind to kill them, to get rid of them, to get revenge for all of this. So that she kicks off the scene, ripping into Hieronymo, saying, have you forgotten him? Have you forgotten that you're supposed to get revenge? Like, what a terrible father you are. There's people who've suffered less, who have wanted more and been more passionate about it, and you are dishonoring the memory of your son and all that kind of thing. She finishes it up by saying, I'm going to do it. I haven't forgotten that revenge need to be gotten here. So I'm going to get my revenge come hell or high water, basically, is what she says. And of course, Hieronymo is going to have to respond. And of course, he's going to have to respond in the form of a monologue, which we will hear tomorrow. So I will see you then. Mwah.